Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what we're going to do is we're going to analyze the Zapruder film. First, let me pull up the frames of the Zapruder film. Now, what we're going to do and what we're going to analyze, what we're going to talk about is frames starting from 133 on through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you when each shot made contact with JFK, Governor Connally, or in the surrounding areas. Now, I made other videos on this before as well, but this time I'm going to show you in detail. Plus, I'm going to show you what takes place as we go along here. But before we get started, okay, as you see here, here's frame 001, and it goes all the way through frames 486. But before we get started here, I want to show you something about when I did research on this film. I know a lot of people's claim that they've seen this Zapruder film thousands of times over, or they even claim that, no one's seen this Zapruder film more than they have. However, I've studied this film for months and years just to make sure I get all the details, cover every base, frame after frame after frame. And there's a lot of things in this film that no one's never talked about or no one's never even spotted. But in this case, I noticed everything. I marked down on maps every location of every person that we can see in these films, not by names, but I went ahead and numbered them. So when I go through the films and stuff, even on other films when I analyze them, I know, like, I'll mark down like number 10. Well, he's in this location here. Okay, he's a male. He has this on. It's notes after notes after notes. But one thing that I noticed when I was analyzing this film is a man and a female, a male and a female, which we can see in another film where they run down the stairwell, which what I'm going to show you. Let me pull up this frame here, frame 96. Okay, there's a stairwell right here. In other films, we can see a man and a female run down these steps and then run around here, but they hide, as you watch my cursor, they hide behind this tree right here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up, go and zoom in, and show you the tree. Now, I'm going to go ahead and zoom this back up again. Okay, here's the tree. Now we're going to go to another clear frame in this Zapruder film, which will be 183, because we get a good image and view of the tree. Okay, let's see if we got it here. I'm going to have to shrink this because it's behind here. Okay, now we pull this one up. Now we're going to move this over here. I'm going to pull up the other frame. As you see here, a side-by-side comparison, there is a man standing right here behind this gentleman here, because there's this gentleman right here, which we don't see in this part yet, or the little girl running. We see a little girl here. And this location here, as you see over here, is a female. Now, no one's never noticed this before, or no one's even talked about it, because like I said, a lot of people, when they analyze these films, they just look at certain parts and that's it. As for me, I got to look over the whole film myself, and I never take nobody else's word for it. And if I can find it and if I can see it, then that's what I'm marked down. But if I go by somebody else saying, well, this is seen here, this scene here, I can't do that unless I see pure evidence that it's actually there. But as you see, that's why I said when I went over this film, and I noticed every detail, because I watch for reactions, which also gives us more detail on what's going on. Reactions, the surroundings, where people's locations are, what the vehicles are doing at the time, how they're going. Like I said, is the downgrade. They're going downgrade on Elm Street. And as you see here, no one's never talked about it. There is actually a male standing right here and a female here. Like I said, they ran down the stairwell there. Right here are the steps on this, I guess what you want to call another pergola. I hope I pronounced that right. But anyway, they run down these steps, They come around, and the female hides right behind the tree, which I don't understand why she hid behind the tree when she could have, when both of them, if they want to see JFK, they could have came closer to the curb because there was plenty of room. But they ran down, and the guy stands right behind this tree right here, and she stands right behind the tree here, which we can see over here, where you follow my cursor, where you can see she has a dress on, and we see it's a tall gentleman right here. So he has to be around 6 foot, and why she's probably about 5'3", 5'4". But I wanted to show you that because, you know, to prove to people that when I analyze a film, I go over frame by frame, and when I mark these locations down, if I see something different, I go back just to see, you know, what's going on there, you know, like people's locations, like the male and female that I found behind the tree. But anyway, we'll go more in details and stuff like that on down the road, which I go into that in my book as well. We're going to start with frame 133 because there ain't no sense in going with, as you see here, I'll pull it up, 132. Okay, as you see here, frame 132, you know, there's not that many people right around this location stuff. JFK's limo's not seen there yet. It ain't until frame 133 is when JFK's limo is first seen. He's already turned down on Elm Street. He's already coming down Elm Street. You see more people right here. So, as you see here, like I want to point out here, as you see here, the guy's not there yet. They're running right here. This is where they're running from. This is the female, the male, and the female's right behind him, I mean in front of him, and they're running right over here. But anyway, let's continue with this. This is frame 133 of the Zapruder film. What we're going to do is we're going to go through frame by frame. I'm going to show you when each shot made contact with JFK, Governor Connally, and show you more evidence actually in the film that you can actually see too, to prove that there was more shots fired than what they claim. Like I said, when you analyze a film, not only do you study the surroundings and objects, but also the people, because when they do reactions, that also gives you more insight of what's going on. Okay, you know how he's waving to the crowds are waving to him, hello Mr. President, all this noise going on. You know, the little girl over here running, and she stops. We see actually, a guy's arm more clear, so he has his shirt rolled up. Female's right here, male still right behind the tree. Now I want to point out some facts here too. Now, they claimed, as you see the street sign here, we'll see black dots coming in and out on this on this sign here, on Stemmons Freeway sign. They claim, well, these are bullet holes. No, they're actually just spots that's in the film. It's not bullet holes. There's no bullet holes, because when you watch one frame, they're not there. You go next frame, spots are there. Then you go frame after that, spots are gone. Okay, if there's a bullet hole, we wouldn't see just pitch black. We'll see daylight or some kind of reflection back through if there's actually a bullet hole. And some of the holes are probably about this big. If you look at film, they're about that big and stuff. That means that, you know, they have blow. And anybody knows that if you're an assassin, you're not going to fire through a sign, because you don't know if that bullet's either going to go through the sign or you're going to give somebody heads up. And you know, that's more theories, false stories that people's claimed, which, you know, just to sell something. Like right here, they claim this is a bullet hole. Here's a bullet hole. But then we go into the next frame. Let me zoom out here a little bit. Now we see the bullet hole right here is gone, bullet hole right here is gone, but now we see another hole here, another hole here, another hole here. Next frame, they're gone. So you see, them are not bullet holes. Just like right here, oh, there's a bullet hole right there. No, it's not a bullet hole. It's just spots in the frames. That's all they are. Excuse me. Okay, we're coming up to frame. This is frame 224. This is approximately where JFK was shot in the back. Now, how we know this is because in frame 225, we start seeing JFK's hands coming up. And I want to explain something to you. Now, they said there's, now there was also some false claims where the Umbrella Man shot him, but we can see the umbrella is actually open up and it's above him. So he's holding it like this with the canopy above him right here. So no, because some people do wear umbrellas through the daytime, even when it's sunny, because so to stop the sun reflecting on them, so they don't get hot too fast, especially if they're wearing dark clothing. But anyway, this is frame 224 of this Zapruder film. This is when JFK was struck in the back by the first shot. Now, in frame 225, we can see JFK start bringing his hands upward. And we see there's actually some blood right here, where my cursor is, on the side of his face. There's some blood, so when the bullet was exiting his throat, blood splatter came up. Now in frame 226, we're going to get a reaction from Governor Connally now. Now, Governor Connally, people says he got shot here. No, he didn't. Governor Connally was reacting from the bullet going past his head. Now, I could prove this in another video I'm going to do. I'll prove this and I'll show the evidence of why the bullet went past Governor Connally's head and it struck, excuse me, we just got done eating dinner. It struck right here where between the sun visors on the chrome of the windshield. But Governor Connally, what it is he's sitting there like this, looking out to his right, which we'll see here. He's looking out to his right like this. And then the next frame, he's reacting like this because he felt it going by here and he's going like, what? You know how people does it, like, what? But, because he's wondering what flew past his head. So that's why we're getting a reaction from Governor Connally, because he was just sitting there looking out to his right. And all of a sudden, when the bullet was exiting JFK's throat and was passing Governor Connally's head, it was like, whoa, something like that. That's his reaction. See, that's why I said when we look here, see how he's all cool and stuff. And then next frame, boom, he's getting that little slight reaction like something just passed his head. And then we see right here, we see a sun reflecting right here. That's because the bullet just made contact with the chrome between the sun visors and that metal being pushed up, and that's why the sun's reflecting in between there. Then everything goes back to normal, as you see here. Oh, I need to give you a new mouse. But see, it all goes back to normal. You see how Governor Connally is now starting to look to his left a little bit. Excuse me, I'm gonna give him some drink. But he's now looking like, it's like when you go in motion, you see him looking off to his left, his right. Then he goes like this, just dodging like something was passing by his head. Now, that was the first shot. Struck JFK in the back, exited his throat, hit the chrome between the windshield of the sun visors. Now, excuse me, now it's the second shot is coming up. As we see JFK's hands, got one here and one here. Now this is frame 228. Frame 229, he gets shot in the back of the head for the first time. Now, what we're going to watch for is when we watch this film, we're going to see him like this, in this frame here. Next frame, he gets shot in the back of the head, then he goes like this. His shoulders come up, his arms come up, like this. He's like, ugh. That's because he was just shot in the back of the head. Right here. I'm trying to zoom in as far as I can go. Right here, we can actually see the bullet impact in the back of JFK's head. We see it right here. We see blood spatter coming out right here. As you see, JFK's arms now came from here. Now it's up like this with his face pushed into his hands. I'm going to scroll back. It won't let me do it that way, but we're going to scroll back. Okay, we're going to go back. See how he's normal. His hand right here, one here. Like this. Now, he's crunched like this. He's just, goes from here to here real quick because he just got shot in the back of the head. Like I said, the reactions can also tell you something that a lot of people know. Then every frame after this, we're going to start seeing his head go more into his hands. It's going to go more into his hands. Then his arms are going to start dropping. Because a lot of people think the fatal headshot when his head exploded, that was the kill shot. No, it wasn't. This was actually the kill shot. Now this shot here, Mr. Donahue studied over the years. Everybody should know Mr. Donahue in the JFK assassination research. He claimed one of the Secret Service agents in a follow-up car shot JFK in the back because the way he figured it came in from the left going out to the right. According to autopsy reports and stuff, the bullet actually entered JFK's head 15 centimeters and stopped. And that's supposedly where it exploded. But the bullet went in 15 centimeters, stopped, and that's supposedly where, like I said, the bullet exploded. But actually, that shot came from the second floor of the county records building, which I'll go into detail on each shot that each gunman took from their locations when I do other videos. But this is the second shot that was fired and made contact with the back of JFK's head. This is the first headshot from behind. Like I said, when we watch the hands, watch JFK's hands, and you see his face and his head, and you see in the back here, when we watch this, we'll see everything is normal back here. There is no impression marks back here or nothing else. His hair is rounded off. He's got one arm right here like this, another one like this. But then when he gets to the next frame, we see the bullet impact, blood splatter, and his face going into his hands, and his shoulders and his arms go straight up. Okay, now watch. Keep your eye in this location here. Right there. See it? See how he's jumping up in the seat? His arms, his hands going up more, his head being pushed into his hands. That's the first time that JFK was shot in the back of the head. When we zoom in, we can see the impact right here of the bullet entering JFK's head and blood spatter, with JFK's face going into his hands, his arms and shoulders going straight up. Now watch. We're going to show you now after this shot struck JFK in the back of the head. We're going to see his head go a little bit more forward. See how it's going forward now. Now his hands and stuff is starting to droop down just a little bit, with his head turned just like this now. It's like he brought his hands and his head's turning now. Now, something else happens just right here. Now, Governor Connolly, as you see him, he's looking out to the right because he's getting ready to turn around and see what just, what passed his head. Right here is when Governor Connolly, as we see the reaction on Governor Connolly's face now, we can see he was just shot in the right side because he's like this in his chair. So he's more or less like this in his chair, and he was shot in the right side, which I'm going to show you evidence in this film, a bullet hole on his right side of Governor Connolly. This is the third shot. Third shot happened around frame 233 because Governor Connolly just got shot in the side. Now, as you see here, JFK's hands are still just like this, but his whole head's turning because now it's taking effect, and we can actually see that there's some coloration on the back of JFK's head right here from the blood splatter coming out. So far, the first shot struck JFK in the back, exited his throat. Second shot struck JFK in the back of the head. Third shot struck Governor Connolly in the right side. Like I said, the reactions can tell you a lot too. And then once you get that reaction, then you go on and you'll find more evidence to back it up. Now you see pain right here on Governor Connolly's face, right here with his mouth open. He's looking out to the right. He's in pain. JFK's head's more turned out and his face is going down into his hands. Now we continue on. Now see how Governor Connally, when he's in motion, when he got shot in the right side, he's going like this. You know, he's just like bending over more to the right because he just got shot, and he's bringing up his other part. See right here how he's just bending over like that. It's like he just got shot in the right side. Now he's starting to look fully around to JFK, and now we see JFK's one arm drop. Miss Kennedy comes up, grabs one hand here, and holds JFK in place. As you see here, she's got one hand here holding his arm. She's got another one she brought up right here. Governor Connally now is still looking to his right, looking back at JFK. Now, the reason why we don't see the Newmans in his Zapruder films is because he had it on full zoom, so he can get all the whole details of everything that was going on. See now how he looked completely back. Now Governor Connally did. Now he's still looking off to his right. Now we're getting close to when JFK was shot, the fatal headshot. As you see here, here's Mrs. Kennedy's arm, which she's got one here on his back and she's got the other one on his arm. See, she's holding him in place because she got one arm right here, the other hand's right here. Governor Connally is back a little bit, but he's still looking off to his right. Now we see the driver starts turning his head to look back what's going on. The other one, the other guy on the passenger side, see him got his hand right up here talking, I guess on the mic, earpiece, talking with the mic. Something's going on. Mary Mormon standing right here. Take a picture. There's Deborah Hill. Now Governor Connally is getting ready to go back to forward. Now we have the fatal headshot to JFK. As you see here, it comes in right here on the right side of the temple. It doesn't come in from the back. It doesn't come from the front. It comes from the side. Now when we watch this, see how his head moved to the left. His head is going to the left. But the reason why he didn't go all the way to the left, because as I point out, Mrs. Kennedy has one hand here, one hand right here on his arm. So she's taking a lot of that impact. So when he got shot here, he was going to the left, not back and to the left, but he went to the left first. Because we could tell this by, if you look at the top of the back seat right here, in JFK's back, still the same distance. So the back of the back seat, top of the back seat, JFK's back's right here. I measure this. I took a ruler out and measured it and see when he started, moving back. He didn't move back whatsoever. He was just mostly moving to his left. Now he got shot. Now the seat's still here. Top of the seat's still here. JFK's back. Next frame after that, top of the seat here. JFK's back still in the same location. See now how his arm is going this way now? He's going to the left. He's not going back and to the left or forward and to the left. He's going left only. As you can see here, I'm pointing and I'm showing you right here. There's the top of the back seat again. There's JFK's back. He's moving left. Let's go over this. See? He does not go back whatsoever. Now see, he's moving to the left. And the only reason why he's going like this now, to the left and back, is because Mrs. Kennedy is going like this. Get all the way in line of fire. Because here's why. Now remember, I already showed you the first shot to JFK's back. Second shot, which is the first shot to the back of JFK's head. Then we have the shot to Governor Connally. This is the fourth shot right here. This is the shot to JFK's right side of his head. And he pushes him off to the left. And right here, what people don't know is, I'm going to zoom in right here, which I'm going to talk about this just for a minute. As you see here, when we're looking at this, we see back of JFK's head is rounded off right here. We see the opening right here. Mrs. Kennedy right here. Now what we're going to find in the next frame is we're going to see another disturbance in the back of JFK's head, and we're going to see Mrs. Kennedy drop down. She's going to drop down again, and you're going to see blood splatter again. The only reason why she dropped down is not because she's seen a bullet or anything else. Another bullet strikes JFK in the back of the head. So when this bullet struck, his head exploded, and then the other bullet struck the back of his head, but it passed through that opening, and that bullet actually went into the windshield of the limo, which I'll show that in another video when I show other evidence of each individual shot. But this bullet is going to strike back here because we're going to look at this area here. We see JFK's back of his head is rounded off. Now, like I said, when we go to the next frame, I'm going to show you. This is frame 315 now. Now, when we zoom in, now we see disturbance here where now it's not rounded off no more. This piece is like this now. So it's going around this way, then down, because that's when another bullet strike, and we see more splatter going up. And as we see here, Mrs. Kennedy's head's going down now. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in motion. And I want you to keep an eye right in here. Okay, see, round it off. There's Miss Kennedy's head right here. And now, boom. See? You see disturbance right there again. And how her head just moves downward. See? That's the bullet striking the back of JFK's head. The bullet then goes through and hits the windshield right here. Now, see how this passenger is right here, how when the bullet strikes the windshield, he goes like this. You know, that reaction of moving forward. Watch him. See how he's sitting back? He goes forward real quick because that bullet just struck the inside the windshield. See? Now, that was shot number 5. Now I'm going to show you shot number 6. Actually, shot number 6 and shot number 7 took place at the same time. Because remember, Governor Connally said as he was turning to his left, he felt a blow to his back. Okay. Now, we got to also take consideration that on the other side of, right there on Main Street, James Tagg was standing. And he says he heard 2 shots and a bullet hit the curb when he heard the second shot. Now, the only 2 shots they can actually hear there is from the shelter. The fatal headshot and a shot to Governor Connally. So 1 bullet cannot come from one, 2 bullets cannot come from one gun. So what happened was 2 gunmen from 2 different locations fired at the same time. Gunman on the side of the shelter took his shot to Governor Connally. At the same time, the gunman on the rooftop of the county records building took his shot. But his shot was to hit the curb. And actually it was military hit. The JFK assassination was a military hit, which I want to prove to you. I'm going to show you how everything was laid out in another video to show you that this is the reason why they took these shots. Okay, but here is, remember, 2 shots were taking place, at the same time, just like when JFK was shot in the back of the head and on the right side of the head at the same time. Both of these shots were fired at the same time. However, with the gunman on the grassy knoll in shelter number 3, his bullet made contact with JFK's head first, and then the second bullet from the shot the second time in the back of JFK's head then made contact with after JFK's head exploded, because the pure fact is he was closer and the other shot was far off distance. So yes, it was like boom, boom, like that. But it was both shot at the same time, fired at the same time. Okay, now we're going to move on. Here's shot number 6, and shot number 7 was taken at the same exact time. But they made contact just a few seconds between, like Well, I ain't got my files with me right now, so, but now we're going to see the bullet impact in Governor Connolly's back, which is right here, frame 330. In this frame here, you see this right here. This is a bullet impacting in the back of Governor Connolly. It's right here. I'm going to go back. As you see here, I want you to keep an eye on this location here. As I go through the frames, you're going to see where the impact comes up and then back into Governor Connolly's back. That's a bullet impacting coming into back of Governor Connolly. See it? That's a bullet impact. Now remember, Governor Connolly said he was looking off to his right, and then when he was turning to his left, that's when he was shot in the back. As you see here, Governor Connolly was always looking to the right, even when he was shot, and it was not until after the fatal headshot is when he starts making his turn to the left. And then here in frame 330, right here, we can see the bullet impact in the back of Governor Connolly. As soon as this impact hits him, he goes right down into his wife's lap that's sitting next to him on his left-hand side. See? Now, I want to point out a fact here. This is frame 337 of the Zapruder film. Well, that's all the Zapruder film as you see here. We're going to zoom in right here. Governor Connolly's right side is now visible. Right here is a bullet hole with blood protruding out of Governor Connolly's right side. There's the blood and the bullet hole right here on Governor Connolly's right side. So we know he was shot on the right when he was turning to his right. He was looking out to his right. We now know that he actually was shot on the right side by that third shot. And it can be seen in every other frame after that, as you see right here. We can still see that blood right here. We see some blood coming down his back right here and right here by the sun reflecting off of Governor Connolly. So right now we cover 7 shots. That's a curb shot, Governor Connolly getting shot twice, JFK being shot 4 times, once in the back, 3 in the head. So there's 7 shots that we covered so far. At that point, they said, well, there ain't no sense in looking at the film or anything else. But then again, this is me. I have to see what else, can this film, show me and tell me. So I continue. Also want to point out something else too. They said the vehicle stopped, okay? And they look at the film and they said, well, it stopped. So, the film, the vehicle had to stop. When they look at this, they look at the Much More film or the next film, okay? The limo does not stop. It might have slowed down a little bit for Agent Hill to get on the back, but it doesn't stop. Now I want to show you, as you see here, now when we look at films and stuff, we also have to take consideration it was sunny. It was around 12:30, so the sun's basically up right up above them. As you see here, this side, the left side, left side turn signal area, tail light, is glowing, but the right side is not glowing at all. That's because there's more of a shadow on this side and the sun's hitting more on this side. So this one's going to glow, but the opposite is not glowing. And then when we're watching a Much More film or other films and stuff like that, we're going to see that glow on the one side, but we're not going to see it on the opposite side. Okay, but on the Much More film, you can only see the one side, and that's the left side, but you can't always see the right side. So when that is glowing, that's actually the sun reflecting off of the tail light, while the other tail light is dark because it was more in the shadows, so they did not stop. That was just another false claim that someone come up with because they see it in the Much More film or in the other film. As you see right here, see how it's glowing? It's bright red here, but it's not bright red over here. It's dark. So he did not hit on no tail lights. or push on the brake. Now, like I said, a lot of people would have stopped looking at the Zapruder film after the fatal headshot. But me, I want to see exactly what happens as they're getting ready to go under the underpass. Now, right here, which I want to bring up, this is frame 399. Now we see a disturbance, which I don't know if you can probably see it, but I'm going to bring it up here because I think I'm down in this area here right now. But we'll see a disturbance hit the right side of the concrete of the manhole cover, and we see a piece of concrete flying up in the air right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom back, which you probably can't see it unless I move over, well, because I'm probably in this area right here. But we're going to see it. See how the piece of concrete just bounced upward? Now it's all back to normal again. That's why we look at this. We see it, it's normal right here. Next frame, disturbance, piece of concrete flying up the air. Back to normal. And now we're coming up frame 401, which again we see another disturbance in that same manhole cover, but now it's the top corner and another piece of concrete flying in the air. Now it goes back to normal here, but now we see a bullet ricocheting upward right here. Now if you look, there's nothing in this area. When you even look at the clear frames, there's nothing in this area for anything to glow. Okay, nothing in that area for it to glow. But as soon as that bullet strikes here, we see it ricocheting upward right here. And we see this ricochet right here, which came actually up, which we can see in much more film. This is the bullet right here that ricocheted upward after striking the steps on the side where the three men were standing. Because we're going to eventually start seeing groundskeeper's hat come into play in this Zapruder film. Right here he is. And the reason why we start seeing him coming into play, no, excuse me, it's right here he is, right here. We see him right here. Groundskeepers right here. And the reason why we see him come into play, because he's trying to get up the stairwell with the other two gentlemen, because he's getting out of the way of the line of fire, because there was a bullet just struck the steps where they were standing. Now at the same time as he comes into play, we're going to look in this area right over here, which I want to zoom in. This location here. Now, as you notice right here in this location, there's nothing there for anything to glow, for the sun reflecting, because if it would have, we could see it in every other frame, but it's only in a couple frames. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it, go to the next frame. As soon as this gets adjusted here, right here. Now there's a high glow right here. And the reason why there's a high glow there is because now a bullet just struck the grass area right there. Now, the next frame, we're going to see another streak, which is these two shots were fired back to back almost. That's like bang bang with an automatic rifle. One shot hit and then the next shot hits. That's in the grass area. Like I said, there's nothing. But when we go to the next frame, like we did, I showed you the frame before. Excuse me. Right here, there's nothing further in this area to, that's glows. Then we got the high glow, back to normal again. Now, that was shots 11 and 12. And the manhole cover was shots 8 and 9. Now we're going to pay attention to the sign on lamppost right here. See this lamppost right here? There's a sign right here on this lamppost. What we're going to do is we're going to see everything's normal. As you see here, there's not for anything to glow on there or anything else. What we're going to do is we're going to see the bullet striking and ricocheting off of it at the same time, because it's going to come in an angle and come back down on this sign on lamppost. Okay, as you see here, it's normal. Normal again. Now we got that glow. A bullet just struck and hit the sign on a lamppost. It came in this way, as you can see the angle coming in, then the bullet ricocheting outward. So it came in, hit the top of it right here, and then came in this way. and start heading towards the hillside. That was the final 13th shot that was fired that day and made contact with the sign on the lamppost. Then after this frame, we're going to go right here. And now here's a sign, no more glowing around the sign or anything else. And then you see here, they're getting ready to go underneath the underpath. There's your lead car, it stopped. And over here in this area, there was nobody standing there. There was nobody standing there because we could zoom in. There ain't nobody there. In the corner of the picket fence area, there's nobody there. Now, we're going to go back here. Like I said, the Zapruder film does in fact show 12 of the shots making contact. Like I said, the one shot that hit the curb where James Tagg was standing, we can't see that in this film, but we can see the other times, all the other 12 shots making contact with JFK, Governor Connally, or in the surroundings. But there's a reason why these people in the background, as you notice, that when these distraction shots started being fired, we start seeing the people in the background, like right here, how they're running, dodging, trying to get out of the way of the line of fire. That's why people start running up the hillside there to get out of the way of line of fire. There's a lot of things that people don't understand about this film. And when they look at this film, they just look at it and say, oh, this is what happened. You know, but there's actually, this Zapruder film does have a lot of details in it that people overlooked. I know every frame in this film, inside and out. I've studied it for, like I said, months, years. I've watched it 4, 5, 6,000, 7,000 times over the years, studying every little corner. I go every half an inch in each frame and just see what happens, and every half an inch again. Like, I'll start here. I'll show you how I done when I analyze films. Okay, I'll start in this, like this location here. I'll make a little block in it, and then I'll start going frame, 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 frame to see if there's any motions there. Just concentrate on this one little area. Then I go to the next frame, the next one, mark another box here, go over it, frame, 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 see if there's any reactions or any movement. Then I go to the next frame, 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 frame. I continue just doing this all the way across here. Go half an inch by half inch, half inch by half inch, all the way from here to here. Then I start here on bottom again, half inch all the way across. Then I start over here again, another half inch all the way across. They'll look for every detail. That's how I found the gumming in the film. The gumming, reflection of the gumming on the rooftop of the records building, which we'll see, which is right here. Which I'll make another video and show you why he's on each one of the frames too as well. But here's that reflection of that gumming on the rooftop of the records building. That's how I found him, because there's only certain parts of the film you see him motion, where you can see motion in them, and then the rest of them is just like a freeze frame shadow. But there's a reason why behind that, which I'll go into details in another video. But that's how I analyze films. I go frame by frame, which takes me for long periods of time. And when I see movement, I got books after books that I had that I wrote down stuff on. Or I'll do it, I'll have another computer. Like, I got a computer right on this side here, where if I'm on this computer here, I'll study the frames and stuff, and then I'll go over here and I'll make my notes and I'll mark on the maps and stuff like that. But this is the Zapruder film. We went frame by frame. JFK was shot in the head 4 times. JFK was shot in the head 3 times, but he was shot in the back once, which I'm going to show you evidence in another video of actually more evidence to show that he was shot in the head 3 times. Governor Connally was shot twice, once in the right, once in the back, and then there were 7 distraction shots fired, which I'll go into more details in that in another video, same as I will on the other shots is there. Plus, I'm going to make videos on all the gunmen and the evidence I have against them, who some of the gunmen were, and I'm probably going to make another video here tonight that explains why the people was running around in the backgrounds and why they was running up hillsides, and talk about the military hit that they done in an assassination of JFK. So again, we're at the end again. So I'd like to thank you for viewing my videos. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget the likes, because the more likes we get, more subscribers we get. I'm thinking about when we hit so many subscribers and stuff, I was thinking about holding a contest. If I can get, like, let me bring them down here real quick if you don't mind. If I can get 50,000 subscribers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out of them 50,000, and I'm going to give away 2 sets of my research books to them for free. They're going to get Evidence of a Conspiracy, Patterson and Gimlin Bigfoot film, 1967, and my Noah's Ark research book. And I'm going to sign each one of them. So I would like to thank everybody, and if we get 50,000 subscribers, I will go through the subscribers and I will pick out 2 winners. Let's go with this. I'll pick out 3 winners. And when I pick out 3 winners, I'll contact them and get their information and stuff so I can send them a complete set of my research books. So tell your friends and stuff. Who knows? You might be the one that may win a complete set of my books, and I'll make a short video on this, because I might even give a couple sets of my fiction books away as well. So again, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends about us. Hit the like button so we keep this going. And y'all have a nice day now. And thank you. God bless.